Good evening. I am so excited that you are all joining me for this online class tonight. It is 3 Keys to Resolving Your Weight Loss Resistance. I know that I personally suffered with not being able to lose weight for years, and it was a really big source of frustration for me. And now I have done a lot of research, a lot of study, and there's so many things now that we can do that we didn't know back a few years ago. And I just want to share them with you so that you can have the same opportunity that I have to get some success, some better health, and to just start feeling better about yourself. All right, so 3 keys to creating better health. Let me just move my thing right here. So there's 3 things that I think can really help you. Understanding causes of weight gain, understanding how to fix your metabolism is going to be huge, and learning how to decrease inflammation. And this can lead to better health, balancing hormones, and so many things that I know when I personally started my health practice and when I started focusing with people on reducing inflammation, that's where we found the greatest results, because it's something that if you keep doing it and you keep working on that, your body actually gets the chance to be able to heal things. And then also working with nutrition and lifestyle is the way that we do this. And sometimes even incorporating a cellular detox for those who really want to massively up-level their health, or they are having toxic issues, or if there's diseases that just their body's not healing, there could be some underlying toxicity there to get rid of. So, all right. 3 major causes of weight gain. And if I would have known these years ago, it would have helped me so much. But, sometimes we just have to be on this discovery path. And so the 3 main causes, insulin resistance is huge. And just a little bit about my background, I've been a pharmacist for over 20 years. And in that whole process, I basically have seen people go from being on 1 or 2 medicines to 4 or 5 medicines to 7 or 8 medicines. And it just keeps, it's like people just keep getting sicker. And a few years ago, I was just like, I'm helping people, but I'm not helping them as much as I can. So that's when I really dug into the natural roots that I had experience with many years ago, and decided to really take a detour from pharmacy, which I still fill in pharmacies once in a while because you want to keep that muscle strong. But my main focus now is health and helping people get healthy, recapture their health, reverse disease, because it can be done. It can be done, and it's actually really fun. And it's more fun than just handing out pills to people, right? It's so much more fun. But insulin resistance is becoming huge. It's like every other person that comes into a pharmacy has insulin resistance. They're on medicines like metformin or things like that. And what's really interesting is, oh my gosh, we can fix it with how we eat and not have to rely on metformin or some of these other medicines to fix this problem for ourselves. And which I think is awesome. And it's not really all that hard, and it actually works better. Because here's one thing about metformin, it's kind of hard on our mitochondria. It's not just like a drug that doesn't have any side effects or consequences. It does. It really does have a little bit of consequence for us taking it. Other causes of weight gain, hormone imbalance is huge. We all know this, especially for women, once we start getting into our 40s, upper 30s, 40s, 50s, we often will experience weight gain because our hormones get way out of whack. And addressing that issue is very much going to help us getting healthier, losing weight, and decreasing inflammation. And then if we have ever been, I know I was this person where I went on not necessarily crash diets so much, but I went on diets all the time. My mom was always on a diet when I was a kid, so I just kind of was programmed that way. Always had to be on some kind of diet because I was never thin enough and never looked, just the way I wanted. And so just repeated dieting over time, especially when it's cutting back, trying to not eat as much, that it's that kind of behavior that slows down our metabolism over time, because our body continually is thinking, oh, there's lack, there's not enough, we need to store some fat just in case, for like a rainy day, right? And we don't want that. We want to, again, start to fire up our metabolism so that we no longer have these issues, and it can totally be fixed, which is amazing. So let's talk a little bit more about insulin resistance. What is it? So let's talk about the cell. Every cell in our body, we have, billions of cells in our body. Every cell in our body is this cute little tiny, round shaped thing. And on the outside, it has these little antennae, these little communicating receptors that do a lot of different things. They will sometimes bind to insulin to bring sugar into the cell. They'll bring other nutrients into the cell. They also help release toxins out of the cell. They're really the communicating component of how our cells talk to each other, how our body communicates. And when these receptors, for some reason, decide to not communicate with insulin, we get resistance. And there can be a lot of different reasons for that. And what I think is personally sad is, if you go to a doctor, they check your blood sugar. If your blood sugar is high, they'll probably say, well, you have insulin resistance, and they want to give you medicine so that your body will, take in more sugar into the cell. Well, that's fine because their main goal is to lower your blood sugar. Well, we do want to lower our blood sugar. That's a good thing because sugar is like a spiky ball. We don't want excess sugar in our blood because it's damaging to our capillaries, to our tissues. But I like to think of high blood sugar or higher blood sugar or even this insulin resistance as a clue. A big clue is, oh my goodness, there's something going on that I need to work on that I can fix so that I don't have that happen anymore. But it's a huge clue. It's not just, oh, you need more medicine, right? Or you need medicine to fix it necessarily. It is a really big clue. Okay, there's something going on. There's something causing my receptors to not want to communicate with that insulin. And so it can be a really fun process trying to figure that out. Basically what insulin does is it's the mechanism that takes sugar into our cell. It's kind of like the key. It's the pathway. And of course, we want that to happen, but we want it to happen when the body wants it to, in a sense. We don't want to be forcing it, because a lot of the medicines that doctors can give you will either have you produce more insulin, have your pancreas produce more. Well, if there's more insulin and your receptors are getting bombarded, well, of course, eventually they're going to give in and start bringing more sugar into the cell. But let's think about the cell for a minute. What if it's kind of full already? Think of your cell like a suitcase. If it's already stuffed pretty full of clothes, well, is it a good idea to just stuff more clothing in there to cause it to bulge? Well, I think that that's part of what's going on, with the insulin resistance. Maybe it's a signal of the cell saying, hey, we're kind of full right now. We don't need anything more. Come back later. Well, that's a really interesting idea. So going back to insulin, the role lowers our blood sugar. Yes, it helps us store sugar in our muscles and in our liver as glycogen. Then that means it can be utilized quickly for energy. And another role of insulin is it converts excess sugar to fat and cholesterol. Well, that's where, it gets a little tricky. If we eat more carbohydrates than our body can utilize, then guess what? insulin is going to help you convert it to fat. It's going to get stored as fat, and that's why we gain weight, right? We've eaten more than our body is utilizing for energy. And so knowing that's one of the ways that we gain weight, or one of the main reasons, it's like, okay, how can I take a different path? How can I choose something different? And then over time, if we keep eating a high amounts of carbohydrates or more than we're burning off, over time our body wants to ignore that insulin. It doesn't want to allow any more sugar into our cells because it wants the opportunity to burn it off. So that's just a huge clue as to what's going on. Other hormones that can be involved with weight gain issues, if you don't have enough thyroid hormone, or you're not able to, those receptors are not able to utilize and hook to the thyroid hormone, that can decrease your metabolism. And then, of course, imbalances in estrogen and testosterone. The thing that's interesting about our hormones is they're all intimately connected. And if we can start working overall on decreasing inflammation, we're going to start to heal the imbalance between all of our hormones. Because often if we just try to fix thyroid, then that means potentially we're not able to focus and fix estrogen or testosterone. Or if our adrenals are having issues and we're under a lot of stress, then that's going to cause a lot of nutrients to be utilized to make cortisol hormone, and then there's less to make thyroid, estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, so that throws us off balance. So you can just kind of see that if we just focus on one area of our hormones, it can throw the others out of balance, and that's why we kind of end up chasing our tail and we don't get the energy back that we want, the healthy functioning body that we want, or the weight loss that we want, because it's just, you try to fix one and the other one goes out. If we work together on decreasing inflammation overall, they can all be worked on simultaneously. So slow metabolism, starvation diets over time, for years and years are like, oh, eat less, eat less fat. That's the way we thought we were to lose weight. And I mean, I even read books about this years ago where they're like, oh, calories in equals calories out. I remember in college, I would think, okay, it's Friday night, so I'll probably go eat pizza, and I'll probably eat, let's say we'll eat 700 or 800 calories of pizza. And so I'd get on the treadmill, and I would run, and I'd walk until I made it to like a lot of calories burned, right? And then, justifying what I was going to eat that night. And, what's interesting is I did that for years, all the time, but I never lost weight. I actually gained weight during college during this period of time with that thinking. I was trying to, out-exercise my diet, and that will drive you insane. There is absolutely no way to out-exercise your diet unless maybe you're going to exercise like 8 hours a day, like Biggest Loser kind of style. It's not going to work. It is frustrating. It might work for a while, but your body will adapt. Our bodies adapt because they want to keep us alive. Our body's always kind of thinking in terms of, how can I keep this person alive? Not, oh, how can I get this person to be thinner, or, things like that. It's wanting to keep you alive. So when we do things over and over, our body will adapt to that, start slowing things down and being like, oh, what's going on here? So just, so that you can't exercise a poor diet to lose weight. Maybe for a little, but not over a long time. It just won't work. And it causes a lot of frustration, believe me. Starvation diets over time, or just trying to cut back. That works sometimes to lose weight. It works for a little while, but then your body catches on and it thinks, oh, well, there's not enough. We're in lack. Maybe we need to slow the metabolism down so that we have this, extra fat to help us get through this rough time. Well, it isn't a rough time, is it? No, you're just trying to cut back on what you're eating. When doing that, you're slowing down your metabolism. And then as we keep doing that, we slow it down a little more, and we slow it down a little more, and we slow it down a little bit more. And now, guess what? We can change that, and I'm so excited. Here's one other thing that is a huge, really big. For years, we were told, oh, to stimulate your metabolism, to fix your slow metabolism, you need to eat, like 6+ times a day. Eat every 2 hours to keep up your energy. Well, actually, that is really not true. Our bodies were designed to only eat and produce insulin a couple times a day. If we look back through history and back through the, millions of years that we've been on this earth, or thousands, or whatever your belief is, but if we look, this is really the only time the biggest time in history where we've had food so available. We could literally eat every minute of every day if we wanted, right? But, way back in the day, it wasn't like that. We'd eat when it was time. We'd eat when, after we'd been, out there gathering, hunting for food, or whatever it was, and we'd eat in the evening or maybe noon and evening. But actually, eating 6 times per day, you're causing your body a lot of extra inflammation. And what happens is every time you eat, you get an insulin spike because you eat carbohydrates. That turns into blood sugar. Your body gets a signal, we have blood sugar rising. We need to produce insulin to lower this blood sugar. So every time you do this, it's an inflammatory process. Well, it's fine that it's an inflammatory process, but we only want to do that a couple times a day if we can, manage that. If we're doing it 6, 8, 10 times a day, your body's inflamed all day long from food. That's one major issue. And every time you produce insulin, you're going into storage mode, right? Because your body's like, okay, we're going to burn off as much as we can, but what's left over that we haven't used, we got to store it somewhere. We got to do something with it. So it'll store it as body fat, because pretty soon here you're eating again. And it's just doing the same thing. If you don't give your body time to burn off the food you've eaten, you're just storing fat all day long. But I will say, there are a very small percentage of people that can eat every 2 hours, and that works for them. That's fine, but just know you're going to age faster. It really isn't a way to bring super good health to your body. It may work for you to keep you thin if you're like this 2 or 3% of people out there. But for the majority of us, it just wreaks havoc on our blood sugar, on our inflammation, and puts us in fat storage mode all day long. So just a little bit of a review. Insulin is a fat storage hormone. Without insulin, we wouldn't really store fat. So if we're stimulating insulin all the time, more opportunity to store fat, way less opportunity to burn fat. High insulin levels is inflammatory because our body is, trying to deal with all this excess food, all this nutrients that needs to be dealt with, and excess energy that it has to figure out what to do with. So it just can be highly inflammatory, especially if your levels stay high. And if your levels stay high, that's going to really increase your hunger. And that sucks, because if you're fighting hunger all day, that's going to make it super hard to be healthy, because you're going to want to eat all the time. Excess insulin, of course, keeps you from burning fat, and really has a major role in weight gain. And one thing that we can do, there's a lot of blood glucose machines out there, blood sugar machines, that are free. If you go to a pharmacy, you can get a free machine, cheap strips, and you can check your fasting blood sugar once in a while, because it's a really good marker for how healthy you are, how well you're maintaining and managing your blood sugar. I know I do this occasionally, and I do it sometimes when I'm really wanting to see how I'm up-leveling my health, because if you can do a fasting blood sugar and be under 100, you know that your body's utilizing the sugar better than if it's over 100. If a couple hours after a meal, if your blood sugar rises to 120, 30, 40, 50, then that's a normal response, because your blood sugar is going to go up after you eat. But if it gets really super high, like 180, 200, that could be a cause for concern, and maybe that could let you know, I need to eat less carbohydrates at this meal because I ate more than my body could handle at the time. So it's a really great tool. I love to use that, blood sugar machines, to do that. So there's really two main sources of energy that our body uses, two main fuel sources for energy, sugar or fat. And for the most part, fat or sugar is our main fuel source. We are really sugar burners. Unless you've really worked on converting your system to being a fat burner, you're a sugar burner. It's the truth. Our body defaults to burning sugar for fuel because it's easier, but it's not as clean of a fuel source. It's kind of like burning regular unleaded, the cheaper gas. There's just more byproducts, more stuff that your body has to waste, it has to get rid of. And then if you burn fat for fuel, it's more like jet fuel. It's cleaner burning. You don't need as much, and there's not as much crap for your cells to have to get rid of. So that right there decreases a massive amount of inflammation. So basically, every cell in our body, we'll go back to the cell, has these little tiny organelles inside, and they are what help the cell function, keep it alive. It's how it's kind of like its little manufacturing plant. All these little organelles do these different things. They produce hormones, they take in nutrients, they make energy, they detoxify the cell, all of these things. Well, inside the cell is mitochondria, and the mitochondria are actually where the energy is made. And depending on your cell, there could be a few mitochondria to many thousand. Like if you think about your heart muscle, which beats constantly 24/7, the amount of mitochondria per cell is much greater because those cells never get a chance to completely rest. Like your, let's say your thigh muscles, if you're sitting and you're really relaxed, those muscles get to rest. So they don't need as much mitochondria because they're not going to need as much energy to maintain themselves, okay? Well, when we think about mitochondria, our health really comes down to how healthy are our mitochondria. If we can give our mitochondria their preferred fuel source that's cleaner burning, we're going to detoxify our body, we're going to decrease inflammation, we're going to be able to lose weight. All these amazing health things can happen. So basically now it's like, okay, how can I convert my body to a fat-burning metabolism versus being a sugar burner? And here's one other amazing reason why becoming a fat burner is so amazing. If you ever had issues with blood sugar, like you get low blood sugar and you get these cravings and then you feel like you just have to eat, that's because your body, you ate something and you burned off the sugar. You had an insulin response to that sugar. Well, if you still have excess insulin up here, and your blood sugar's down here, well, this insulin needs to do something. And so your body says, well, we need to get rid of this insulin, so let's get a craving. Let's get this person to eat some more so that we can marry more sugar with the insulin to reduce the insulin. That is a huge reason why we get sugar cravings, one of them anyway. Plus, then you're at the mercy of, oh my gosh, if my blood sugar drops too low. Well, if you're burning fat for fuel, you just have this constant blood sugar level because your body's not needing to burn it. So it's always just at this smooth level, and you're burning fat for fuel. And guess what? When you're a ways after you're done eating, and you've already burned off all the fat from your meal, well, then what will your body do? If it needs more energy, it's going to burn body fat for fuel. So you switch to burning body fat for fuel. No blood sugar issues at all. It's amazing. You become like this sovereign being, right? You're not at the mercy of your blood sugar anymore. So that is, I know I personally had massive blood sugar issues because I had adrenal issues. I was so stressed out. But when I discovered this and started practicing this, oh my gosh, I am free from the crazy mood swings and blood sugar issues that plagued me for like about 6 or 8 years. Well, actually, from high school to probably about 15 to 20 years. It was sucked. I hated it. And now I don't have that. I can go exercise, and if my body needs more fuel, it just starts pulling it from body fat, which is amazing. One of the ways, like the main way I did this is two ways. I started following a more ketogenic type diet, and I started intermittent fasting. And a ketogenic diet, super anti-inflammatory way to live. I love it because it actually gives your body a chance to heal because we've lowered inflammation so much. It is basically a process of eating a higher fat diet, moderate protein, and lower carbohydrates. This is definitely not a protein free-for-all at all. And what's really interesting is the average American eats about 31 teaspoons of sugar per day. Well, I dare you to just take a teaspoon and measure out 31 teaspoons and look and see the mountain pile of sugar that is. And just knowing that that is such a source of inflammation and for your body, and that you can now fix that with this new lifestyle. Also, for many years, we were scared to eat fat because they kept telling us, oh, you know, that's going to cause heart disease and cause all of these things. Whereas we've actually found out that it's not the fat that's causing heart disease, it's the carbohydrates and trans fats. So if you're eating good, healthy fat, you will be healthy. If you're eating excess carbohydrates, you're not going to be healthy. You're really not. A few of you may be. You know, sometimes some bodies adapt differently. But for the long haul, eating excess carbohydrates is just, it's hard on your body. Ages you faster, weight gain, hormone imbalance, gives you the opportunity to create more disease. Sugar bummer. Ketogenic is not Atkins, it's not South Beach, it's not a fad diet. It's basically, you know, something that we've been doing for many thousands of years because, you know, back in the day they didn't have, you know, Quaker oats and all these prepared packaged things or even bread necessarily. It was, you know, some fruits, mostly vegetables, berries, meats, and fats. And that's what we used to eat. And that is what our body was designed to eat. And if you don't like to eat meat, eat a really good vegetarian or vegan source of protein. That's fine too. Just make sure that your body loves it and it's not inflammatory to you. And get it at least as low a processing as you can, because the more something's processed, the more inflammatory it can be. So basically, we're thinking about 10 to 15% protein. We are, and my screen just went back. Okay. Oop. Okay, so we're thinking about 10% protein, 5% or so carbohydrates, the rest is fat. If we really think about fat grams, that could kind of freak us out because we're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to need over 100 grams of fat potentially. Well, here's the thing. Fat does not make you fat. Carbohydrates make you fat. So if you start lowering your carbohydrates, raising your fat intake, that's when you start healing yourself, lowering inflammation, fat-burning metabolism. It's amazing. And here's one trick. Don't overeat protein because that can be converted to sugar, which then ends up being kind of like you ate sugar. So it's huge. Doing a ketogenic diet every day, day in, day out, as with anything, your body can get used to it. So I love to help my clients vary their diet. We vary by the week. We can vary by the season. We can vary by the month even. But if you add some variation in there, add a higher carbohydrate day once in a while, add a fasting day where you don't eat at all once in a while, these things can help keep your metabolism like on guard. It's like, oh, we have extra carbohydrates, woohoo, well, you know, fire up the engines, and then, oh, there's like no calories today. I guess we're just going to have to burn body fat because, you know, we're not eating anything today. But changing that gives your body variation, keeps it guessing in a sense, but keeps it active and keeps it moving and grooving with what you're doing, and it doesn't get complacent and lazy. We don't want our metabolism to get lazy, and that is one of the main ways to do it. And one of the biggest things that my mentor says that I love to say, it's like, don't eat less often. You eat less, you slow your metabolism. You eat less often, you reduce inflammation, you maintain or lose body weight, you're healthier. So if you can shorten the amount of time you eat in a day, that's where intermittent fasting comes in. Maybe you eat from noon to 7, and that's your 7-hour eat window. Maybe it's my eat window is usually from 3 to 7. That's when I like to eat, between that time, just because I'm the type of person, one meal a day is a little hard just because I can't get enough calories in my stomach in that one amount of time because my stomach isn't that big. So if I have it this 3 or 4 hour window where that's when I eat, I can eat plenty of calories, get plenty of nutrition, but then my body gets to, in a sense, rest for all these hours during the day where it gets to burn off stored fuel and not get built up. So I don't have the built up sugar in my body anymore. It's amazing. And if you can get your body to use up what you've eaten and then have time afterward to really finish that process before you eat again, that's when you get real health. It is amazing. One thing that I really found with this ketogenic type lifestyle and intermittent fasting is I got my confidence back. I was able to start losing weight again, which I hadn't for years. I was just puffy and gross for like so many years. And once the water weight started coming off, the inflammation started dropping, and then my body fat started coming off, the excess, I got so excited. I started feeling so good. I mean, my confidence started soaring. But then that not only gave me body confidence, but then I was more confident in myself, in what I was doing every day, like what I did for work, more confident in my relationships. When you start restoring confidence, it will bleed over into every area of your life, which who doesn't want that? Really, I mean, one of the things I love to work with high performance people that want to just live life to the fullest, but want to feel good because maybe the way they've been living has been a lifestyle that's really been hard on their body, right? And it's causing them, they're starting to see disease, they're aging faster than they want, they're don't have as much energy, their brain's foggy, their hormones are messed up. It's like you want to, when you work, you want to serve in amazing ways, and when you play, you want to play and have fun and be able to not be limited by the functioning of your body. You want to sleep good, you want to be happy, and this process of reducing inflammation, restoring that confidence in your body was huge, and it bled out into every area, like I said. And another thing that it really helped me do was be able to create good habits. Because when you're excited and happy, you're like, oh yeah, I'll start exercising. That sounds like fun. And you keep doing it. But if you're feeling bad and yucky, to add a new habit, no, it's more easy to get into another bad habit than continue or try to find a good habit. Excuse me. So, as you start doing this and getting happy and more confident, you more easily create and make new habits, because here's the thing, inch by inch, we create new habits and then another new habit and another new habit. If we keep doing those, we create this amazing lifestyle that we absolutely love, that is disease-free or reversing disease, and we're clear and we're vibrant and we're beautiful and we just feel it throughout our whole entire body. Oh, that's amazing. That's what I created, and now I'm hoping to help you do the same. And ketogenic, your brain loves the ketogenic diet because it wants to burn ketones for fuel. Your brain will burn fat for fuel so much easier. And if you don't have the excess sugar in your brain causing insulin resistance up there, you will have more energy, more clarity, and you'll be so much smarter and clearer in your thinking. It is a game changer. So nutrition and lifestyle, honest to God, the keys to your success. Again, you can't out-exercise a poor diet. There is absolutely no way. I mean, you can for a little bit. You're going to wear yourself out doing it, probably burn up your adrenal glands. It's not a fun thing to do. Nutrition is just super important. We have to think of ourselves as every second, 100,000 cells die and 100,000 new ones are made. Well, what are you making your new cell out of? Are you making your new cell from the amazing butter and coconut oil and lean meats and green veggies that you're eating? Or are you creating cells from McDonald's French fries and milkshakes full of sugar and high fructose corn syrup candy bars? Is that what you want your cells to be made of? Because if you're eating that, your cells will have no other choice because they need some building block to create from. And if we wonder why we get sick all the time and why our immune system isn't as good and we're not as resilient, well, what are you making new cells out of? Are you making them out of good quality nutrition or out of crap? It's true. I feel really sad for our children these days because the kids who are not getting good nutrition, well, no wonder they're struggling so much. No wonder there's so much ADD and autism and things like that, because their cells, if they're not getting good nutrition, the cells that they're creating are subpar. And then you're making new cells out of subpar cells, which are going to be even more subpar. We want to create new cells out of stellar, amazing cells. And the only way to do that is by eating better. Something that you can do that can really help you is prepare yourself for success. Doing a little bit of time every week, like on Sunday. Go to the grocery store on Sunday, you get your week's worth of groceries. Do this. When you get home, wash all your veggies, chop them up, put them in containers so that they're ready to go. That way, if you're making a salad, your salad's like, oh, lettuce, you put all these chopped veggies on there, and then you cook your meat, and then put some really great olive oil on there and some nuts and some seeds. And in like no time, you can have a salad versus, oh, I get home and I got to make a salad and I got to wash the lettuce and I got to, clean all the veggies and do all of that. Well, if you just spend about an hour on Sunday or less and just hurry and get it done, you're prepared for the week. And then have some good food bars. I know I have certain food bars for when I may be busy and can't eat a meal. I have nuts that I have for snacks in case I need it. And if I'm running late and not going to be home for, in enough time for my meal to start, if you plan and prepare and have those things with you, then you are not going to be so apt to grab the Snickers bar or go get the milkshake or go get the French fries or eat the bad things. A little bit of preparation is going to be huge. Even do some extra cooking on Sunday. I know sometimes we will roast some veggies, and then I've got roasted veggies to add to my salads for the next couple or 3 days. Or you can make a really healthy pot of soup. Or just things like that can absolutely set you up for success. And starting somewhere. Really quick, take a deep breath. And think about what is one step you can take right now to start a new habit, to start your way to reducing inflammation, reducing your body weight, getting healthy, reducing disease, preventing cancer. Let's see. So right now, you could commit to, as soon as you're done watching this, you could get up and walk around the block, get some exercise. You could commit to, okay, I'm going to put on some good music and dance for 5 minutes to raise your vibration. You could say, okay, I'm going to go to the health food store and find some really good low-carb bars so that I have snacks planned for myself. Whatever it is, but find something that you can go do right now, right when we're done, to take the first step. Because if you keep waiting and keep putting it off, then you're never going to do it. And what good is that? What fun is that? Just think, how can I give myself a step ahead right now and go and do it? Do it, right? Yes. And then the last part of really creating a super healthy life is knowing that we live in a toxic environment, a toxic world. We do. It's okay. We do, right? But here's the thing. There's so many things that we can do to start decreasing our inflammation and our toxicity and helping our bodies be able to deal with these toxins easier. And that can be unplugging your wireless router at night for your internet. That extra electromagnetic frequency all night, super hard on yourself. You could not wear your cell phone on your body. That's super hard on yourself. You could change all of your toxic cleaners to natural cleaners, use natural laundry soap, use natural deodorant, natural skincare products. But just think about all the things that you do in the day eventually over time. And when you get done with something, replace it with something natural and healthy so that you're not adding toxins to your body. Really, really important. Also, dealing with emotional issues, that can be really big. And that could be, maybe you can't choose who your coworker is, but you can choose how you respond to that, with that coworker, to that coworker, or because of. And if you can work on your response internally, that can decrease a ton of stress. Maybe there's just situations you need to take care of. Things like that, if we start just becoming aware and letting ourselves know it's okay and I feel this way, and allow yourself to feel it, and then finding a step that you can take in the right direction to help your body become healthier. Because as you decrease those things, you're going to decrease toxicity, because your body's not going to keep storing and storing and storing stuff, because that really ends up hurting ourselves over time. It could be taking out the mercury fillings. If you still have metal in your mouth, get it out, but get it out safely, because they contain 50% mercury. And here's the thing, they're always going to leach mercury into your body 24/7. Get them out as soon as you can, but do it safely. All right. And that could be just another whole week's worth of information there. So I just wanted to invite you. I have been creating this 5-week course where I go into all of the things that we've talked about in a lot more detail. I want to help you start creating a healthy, low inflammation lifestyle, to be able to lose weight forever, to get healthy, reduce inflammation, start reversing disease. And I just feel like now is the time that this information really needs to be heard. And the thing is it's not just one thing. It's not just diet. It's not just exercise. It's not just one thing. It's doing these things together and in a strategic way that can really start giving us amazing results. So if you're interested and would like some more information, please contact me either at the email address that I have left right there, or message me on Facebook. And I want to start either the 5th or the 12th of April. It's going to run for 5 weeks. The thing that's nice is you're going to get access to me. We'll be live on calls. They will be recorded. You'll also get the opportunity to ask me questions so that we can hone in on what your issues are and help you really create a personalized plan for yourself, because that way it fits you and it fits how you live your lifestyle, and that way you can get on the right track to getting healthy. So if you would like more information, please contact me. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be fun, and we're going to change some lives. It's going to be great. So I hope you have an amazing rest of your evening.